For decades, the United States has sought to mediate the conflict between Israelis and Palestinians over land, control of religious sites, and sovereignty. In 1993, a promising moment at the White House when Israeli Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin and Palestine Liberation Organization negotiator Mahmoud Abbas signed a declaration on self-government, commonly referred to as the Oslo Accords. Peace appeared close at hand, but the Palestinians ended up violating the agreement, according to former U.S. Assistant Secretary of Defense Lawrence Korb, who witnessed the signing. Korb, now a senior fellow with the Center for American Progress, tells VOA he still believes in a two-state solution, but under a new Palestinian leadership.
Now, the Palestinians got to get their act together. You know, their leader, Mahmoud Abbas, he's out of it. He's too old. He can't, be effective. They have to get another leader, too. And if you can get a separate Palestinian state out of this horrible situation, that will be really a significant achievement and will make it much easier to maintain stability in the region.
Aaron David Miller worked for Republican and Democratic administrations for decades, often as part of the U.S. team trying to negotiate peace in the Middle East. He sees more continuity than change in U.S.-Israeli relations, especially with President Joe Biden in the White House.
For Joe Biden, alone among modern American presidents, he considers himself literally part of the Israeli story. His relationship with Israeli prime ministers and other leaders goes back decades. I mean, he insisted on going into a war zone when this crisis first broke.
Biden embraced Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu just days after members of the U.S. designated terrorist group Hamas killed 1,200 Israelis and took more than 200 others hostage in the brutal October 7th attack. He has repeatedly said the United States will always be there for Israel. But in 2 months, Israel has pounded the Hamas-run Gaza Strip, displacing at least 2 million Palestinians, wounding more than 50,000 people, and killing thousands more in the bloodiest campaign in the decades-long conflict. Biden recently told an audience of political donors that Israel is losing support from other countries because of its indiscriminate bombing of Gaza, and that Netanyahu should change his hardline government. In New York and other cities, thousands of Americans have taken to the streets to protest the killing of Palestinian civilians in Israel's offensive against Hamas. Some White House and State Department staff also have strong feelings about the conflict, with some signing letters of protest and even resigning from the administration.
People on the inside of the State Department have been watching our policy towards Israel, for many years, for decades in some case. And we've largely had unconditional military support for Israel. So there's an understanding on the inside that we have not used tools that we have available, using the leverage that we have with our military support to press Israel to do more to address the Palestinian issue.
And while many have demonstrated against Israel's offensive, thousands of Americans also turned out in Washington in mid-November to support Israel and condemn anti-Semitism. Cindy Sain, VOA News, the State Department.